Good day. How is everyone today? I'm going to step back just a little bit, let them get the screenshot for the thumbnail. Hello, Denise and CJ and Maria. Thank you for coming, and everyone else who comes and listens and comments. Welcome, Mr. Wagner, new subscriber. He commented and he was thankful that we could have Mass, and that's very true. So we're going to continue with Saint Catherine of Siena this morning, this day, this Good Rising Day, and talk more about the prayer, our prayer life. And it was interesting. She talks about, or Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum gives her the insight that of how to balance vocal versus mental prayer. And I really appreciate that because there's some tips in there which I caught pre-reading before this Good Rising. And what it was is that, I don't know if you've ever felt it before, but like the grace of the Trinitarian Theophany just coming to you, and you feel something special, something godly, and it could be at any time. The other day it happened to me when I was in the ice cream store. Yes, I do like ice cream. That's a weakness. But I was standing there waiting for the ice cream to be ready, and this just joy and peace came over me. And what Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum says is to stop what you're doing, if you're doing something, and to bask in that. Okay, so pay attention to those times and moments, and don't be afraid of them. Don't just take that moment and stand there. And if somebody wants you or something, just stay in it. They'll understand, okay? But there may not be that many of those. It just may be a thought that comes to you that of the Trinitarian Theophany, a thought about the Trinitarian Theophany. And take that moment. Don't brush it by as a thought of your own, but as coming from the Trinitarian Theophany, and again, contemplate it and bask in it and appreciate it. If you're saying, and it's pointed out in the reading, but I'll say it now, is if you're saying your rosary, okay, a lot of times we get all concerned about being interrupted. If you're interrupted with something like that, you stop saying the vocal prayer and you bask again in that. When it's completed, then you continue with your rosary. Those types of mental connections are special, and I'll explain why right after we get started with the Good Day prayers. And if you, for example, also experience some feeling of darkness or pressure, or don't wallow in that, but instead turn your eyes immediately to the Trinitarian Theophany. And especially if you're like watching TV or the computer or something, move away from that if you get that feeling, and immediately start your conversation to the Trinitarian Theophany. That's a really good time to do that, because that then shows the power of over evil by you doing that. In nomine Dei, matronam nostra, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Let us place ourselves in the presence of the Trinitarian Theophany, and in Catholic contemplation venerate the Divine Family. Most holy and venerable Trinitarian Theophany, one divine family, I believe that thou art here present. I venerate thee with the deepest humility. I render to thee with my whole heart the homage which is due to thee. O Trinitarian Theophany, relying on thine infinite goodness and promises, I hope to obtain the pardon of my sins, the help of thy grace, and life everlasting through the merits of Deum Iesum Christum et Deum Matronam Nostrae. O Trinitarian Theophany, I love thee above all things with my whole heart and soul, because thou art all good and worthy of all love. I love my neighbor as myself for love of thee, and I forgive all who have injured me, and ask pardon of all whom I have injured. Let us thank the Trinitarian Theophany for the many graces that we receive, and offer ourselves and our sufferings up to heaven, and for the souls in purgatory. O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, I most humbly thank thee for all the favors thou hast bestowed upon me to the present moment. It is again thanks to thy bounty that I should live to see this day, and I desire to employ it solely in thy service. I consecrate to thee all my thoughts, words, actions, and sufferings of this day. Sanctify them, that there may be none that is not animated by thy love, or that would not tend to thy greater glory. Let us make a firm resolution to avoid evil and to do good. And let us beg of the Trinitarian Theophany the graces which are necessary to us. O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, thou knowest my weakness, and that I am unable to do anything good without the help of thy grace. Deny me not thy grace, proportionate to my necessities. Give me strength to avoid everything which thou forbiddest, to practice the good which thou hast commanded, and enable me patiently to bear all the trials which it may please thee to send me. O Deum Matronam Nostrae, I place myself under thy protection. I throw myself with confidence into the arms of thy compassion. Be to me, O Mother of Mercy, my refuge in distress, my consolation in suffering, now and at the hour of my death. O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. I am heartily sorry for having offended thee, and I detest all my sins because I dread the loss of heaven and the pains of hell. But most of all because they offend thee, O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, who are all good and deserving of all my love. I firmly resolve with the help of thy grace to confess my sins, to do penance, and to amend my life. Thou knowest that the pride of the devil cannot resist the humble mind, nor can any confusion of soul be greater than the broadness of my good mercy, if the soul will only truly hope therein. Wherefore it was, if thou remember rightly, that once, when the devil wished to overthrow thee by confusion, wishing to prove to thee that thy life had been deluded, and that thou hadst not followed my will, thou didst that which was thy duty, which my goodness, which is never withheld from him who will receive it, gave thee strength to do. That is, thou didst rise, humbly trusting in my mercy, and saying, I confess to my Creator that my life has indeed been passed in darkness, but I will hide myself in the wounds of Deum Iesum Christum crucified, and bathe myself in his blood, and so shall my iniquities be consumed, and with desire will I rejoice in my Creator. Thou rememberest that then the devil fled, and turning round to the opposite side, he endeavored to inflate thee with pride, saying, Thou art perfect and pleasing to God, and there is no more need for thee to afflict thyself or to lament thy sins. And once more I gave thee the light to see thy true path, namely humiliation of thyself. Then the devil, not being able to resist thy humble hope in my goodness, said to thee, Cursed that thou art, for I can find no way to take thee. If I put thee down through confusion, thou risest to heaven on the wings of mercy. And if I raise thee on high, thou humblest thyself down to hell. And when I go into hell, thou persecutest me, so that I will return to thee no more, because thou strikest me with the stick of charity. The soul therefore should season the knowledge of herself with the knowledge of my goodness. And then vocal prayer will be of use to the soul who makes it, and pleasing to me. And she will arrive from the vocal imperfect prayer, exercised with perseverance, at perfect mental prayer. But if she simply aims at completing her tale, T-A-L-E, and for vocal abandons mental prayer, she will never arrive at it. Sometimes the soul will be so ignorant that, having resolved to say so many prayers vocally, and I visiting her mind sometimes in one way and sometimes in another, in a flash of self-knowledge or of contrition for sin, sometimes in the broadness of my charity, and sometimes by placing before her mind in diverse ways according to my pleasure and the desire of the soul, the presence of my truth. She, the soul, in order to complete her tale, will abandon my visitation, that she feels as it were by conscience, rather than abandon that which she had begun. She should not do so, for in so doing she yields to a deception of the devil. The moment she feels her mind disposed by my visitation, in the many ways I have told thee, she should abandon vocal prayer. Then, my visitation past, if there be time, she can resume the vocal prayers which she had resolved to say. But if she has not time to complete them, she ought not on that account to be troubled or suffer annoyance and confusion of mind. But if they at the hour, skip that. Vocal prayer made in the way that I have told thee will enable the soul to arrive at perfection, and therefore she should not abandon it, but use it in the way that I have told thee. And so, with exercise and perseverance, she will taste prayer in truth, and the food of the blood of my only begotten Son, Deum Iesum Christum. And therefore I told thee that some communicated virtually with the body and blood of Deum Iesum Christum, although not sacramentally. That is, they communicate in the affection of charity, which they taste by means of holy prayer, little or much according to the affection with which they pray. They who proceed with little prudence and without method taste little, and they who proceed with much taste much. For the more the soul tries to loosen her affection from herself and fasten it in me with the light of the intellect, the more she knows, and the more she knows, the more she loves. And loving much, she tastes much. Thou seest then that perfect prayer is not attained to through many words, but through affection of desire, the soul raising herself to me with knowledge of herself and of my mercy, seasoned the one with the other. Thus she will exercise together mental prayer and vocal prayer, for even as the active and contemplative life is one, so are they. Although vocal or mental prayer can be understood in many and diverse ways, for I have told thee that a holy desire is a continual prayer, in this sense that a good and holy will disposes itself with desire to the occasion actually appointed for prayer, in addition to the continual prayer of holy desire. Wherefore vocal prayer will be made at the appointed time by the soul who remains firm in a habitual holy will, and will sometimes be continued beyond the appointed time, according as charity commands for the salvation of the neighbor, if the soul see him to be in need, and also her own necessities according to the state in which I have placed her. Each one, according to his condition, ought to exert himself for the salvation of souls, for this exercise lies at the root of a holy will. and whatever he may contribute by words or deeds towards the salvation of his neighbor is virtually a prayer, although it does not replace a prayer which should make oneself at the appointed season. It was for this reason that I told thee that prayer was made in many ways. That is, that actual prayer may be united with mental prayer if made with the affection of charity, which charity is itself continual prayer. I have now told thee how mental prayer is reached by exercise and perseverance, and by leaving vocal prayer for mental when I visit the soul. I have also spoken to thee of common prayer, that is, of vocal prayer in general, made outside of ordained times, and of the prayers of goodwill, and how every exercise, whether performed in oneself or in one's neighbor, with goodwill, is prayer. The enclosed soul should therefore spur herself on with prayer, and when she has arrived at friendly and filial love, she does so. Unless the soul keep to its path, she will always remain tepid and imperfect, and will only love me and her neighbor in proportion to the pleasure which she finds in my service. Good. I'm going to stop there. Tomorrow we'll talk of the method by which the soul separates herself from imperfect love and attains to perfect love, friendly and filial. Deum vobiscum et quoque apud. Oremus. O Trinitarian Theophany, the Creator and Redeemer of all the faithful, grant to the souls of thy servants and handmaids the remission of all their sins, that they may obtain, by loving prayers, the forgiveness which they have always desired, who livest and reignest with thee, one Trinitarian Theophany, forever and ever. Suscipe Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum hoc immaculatum hostium, quam ego indignus, famulus tuus offenditibi Deum meum vivum et verum, pro numeribus peccatis et offensionibus et negligencies meis, et pro omnibus circumstantibus cerebromnibus fidelibus catholicorum vivis atque defunctis ut mihi et idis proficiet et salutem. Deum qui humanae substantiae dignitate mirabilita contradicit mirabilis reformasti da nobis spiritus atquae et divinem mysterium eis divinitatis esse consortes qui unitatis nostrae fidelity notis est partaceps. Deum Iesum Christum Filium, qui tecum vivit et regnat in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Offerimus tibi Deum calicem, salutaris tuum de peccantis clementium, ut conspectu divinae majestatis tuae pro nostra, et totius mundi salute, cum adoris suavitatis ascendat. In spiritu humilitatis et in animo contrito, suscipiam rate Deum Iesum Christum, et succiet sacrificium nostrum et conspectu hodie, ut placeat tibi Deum antronam nostra et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Veni sanctificator, Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, et sanctificita blata prosequendo, et accipere hoc sacrificium tuo sanctum nomini praeparatum. Suscipe Sancta Trinitas concomitantionem con tibi afferimus, amamorum passionis, resurrectionis et ascensionis, Deum Iesum Christum et in honorem Deum matronam nostra et Papa Peter Sanctorum et omnium Sanctorum. et istorum et ut idis proficietat ad honorem nobis autem ad salutem, et idi pro nobis intercedere, dignentur in caelis, coram amorem agimus in teris pediendum Christum Deum nostrum. Orate, ut meum equestrum sacrificium acceptabile fiat apud Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Suscipiat Deum Iesum Christum sacrificium de manibus tuis et laudem et gloriam nomini sui ad utilitatem quoque nostram totiusque ecclesiae suae sanctae. Deum vobiscum, quoque apud te, sursum corda habemus ad Deum. Gratias agamus Deum nostrum, dignum et justum est. De igit luclem decimi mater et pater, Deum matronum nostrae, Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per Deum Iesum Christum Filium tuum, Deum nostrae, supplices rogamus ac petimus. Uti accepta habeas. Haec sanctum sacrificium ilibata. In primis quae tibi efferimus pro ecclesiam tuum sanctam catholicam, quam pacificare, custodire ad honore, et regere, digneris toto orbiterarum atquae catholicae. Memento Deum famulorum Cetuorum. We pray for the sick and the suffering. We pray for Katie, Gage, Neil and Earl Lively, Marie Josephina Mose, Mark Jr., Henry, Barbara, and Benedict Santa Croce, Casey, Mr. Nobody, Ambletink, the Cantu and Duarte families, Michaela McLarnon and family, Janelina, Laurie, Aaron and family, the Cahill, Kendrick, Dasco, Kane, Nye, Tafur, Began, and Wolf families, and all their intentions. We pray for Mr. Nobody to receive the funding and strength needed to complete the first Sede Vacantis Catholic Council office at Monastery of Illinois. We pray for an end to all governmental allowance or sanctioning of abortion, transgenderism, transhumanism, child trafficking, any kind of abuse of children or people, anywhere, place, or time. We pray for the establishment of a Catholic monarchy with a sound Catholic system of labor, human value, solid medium of exchange with no usury. And we pray for courageous men to step forward as leaders of this Catholic society, to learn how to become leaders again, and to have strength and care. We pray for the wisdom on how to operate small farms, how to produce our own foods in healthy manners, and to share with our neighbor. We ask for the conversion of all sinners trapped in a state of mortal sin, especially the ignorant. We ask you to shut down CERN, close all gateways and portals, and shut down all harmful radiation waves. Send the demons Adonai and Adon back to hell, along with Asmodeus and another one, Lilith. With this mass, we ask that you please save or transfer the souls from under the dominion of any Jew or Freemason, especially that gives support to Israel, and have those demons sent back to hell, and send the souls back over to us so that we may help them. All these things we ask in accordance with the Trinitarian Theophany's holy and divine will. Et omnium circumstantium quorum tibi fides cognita est et non devotio pro quibus tibi afferimus, vel qui tibi front hoc sacrificium laudis, pro sesquisque omnibus, pro redemptione animarum suarum, pro spe salutis et calamitatis suae, tibi credum vota sua aeterno Deum vivo et vero. Communicantes et memoriam venerantes in primis gloriose, semper Deum matronam nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et beatorum martyrium torum Papae Sancti Petri, et Sancti Luci, et Sancti Jacinta, Sancti Francisco, et Sancti Juan Diego, et omnium sanctorum tuorum, quorum meritis praecibusque, concedas ut in omnibus protectionis tuae muniam exilio pediendum Christum Deum nostrum. Quab oblationum de Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum in omnibus consecratum acceptabilem perfecere digniris ut nobis corpum et sanguinem fiat edictissimi Filium Tuum Iesum Christum. Qui pridie quam pastoretor recepit panem in sancta sac venerabilis manus suas. Et elevatis oculis in caelum et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum suum omnipotentem tibi gratias agens. Consecravit, fregit didique luminis sui dicens, accipite et mandacate ex hoc omnes. Hoc est enim corpus meum. Simili modo postquam ceremonia est accipiens, et hunc praeclarum calicem in sancta sacco venerabilis manus suas, item tibi gratias agens Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, consecravit didique luminis sui dicens, accipite et bibite ex omnes. Hic est enim calix sanguinis mei mysterium fidei, quae pro nobis et pro multis affundetur in remissione peccatorum. Haec quod est cum purificatitis in me mono facietis. Unde et memores Deum nos servitui, sed plebs tua sancta iustem Christum Filium Tuum Deum nostrae, tam beatae passiones nec non et in fidis resurrectionis, sed et in caelos gloriosae ascensionis, offerimus praeclare maiestati tuae de tuis donis actatis, supra quae propitio accere novutu respicieri digneris. Supplices te ragamus Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, iube haec per Philippemminus tuum ut quod ex hoc autoris participationis sacrosanctum Deum Filium Tuum, corpus et sanguinem simsenimus, omni sanctificatione caelestia gratia Dei per amor pedinum Christum Deum nostrae. We pray for those who have deceased, and we especially pray for Nick Dasco, for whom this Mass is being offered. Ipsis Deum et omnibum in Christum quiscentibum locum refugieri lucis et pacis ut odorgi est pracamor pedendum Christum Deum nostrum, per quem hic omnia Deum Iesum Christum semper bona creas, sanctificas, vivicas, consecratis et praestas nobis. Per ipsum et cum ipso et in ipso, est tibi Deum Matrum omnipotenti in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, omnis honor et gloria. Ave Dea Matronam Nostrae, gratia plena Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum tecum. Dea Matronam Nostrae, Materam Deum Iesum Christum, misericordia nobis, peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Libera nos quaesimus Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum ab omnibus malis, praeteritis, praesentibus et futuris, et intercedente beata et gloriosa semper Deum Matronam Nostrae, cum Papa Petrum Sanctorum et omnibus sanctis da propitius pacem in diebus nostris. Ut ope misericordiae Tuae aduiti et peccato, simus semper liberi et ab omni perturbatione securi. Per indum Deum nostrum Iesum Christum filium tuum Deum nostrum, qui tecum vivit et reinat in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per aeternam. Pax Deum Iesum Christum sit semper vobiscum et quoque apud te. Haec mixtio consecratio corporis et sacramentis Deum Iesum Christum fiat excipientibus nobis in ad salutem aeternam. Pax tecum et quoque apud te. Deum Iesum Christum, qui ex voluntate Deum matronam nostrae, cooperante Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per mortem tuam unum vivificasti, libera me per hoc sacro sanctum corpus et sanguinum tuum abonibus iniquitatibus meis, et universis malis, et fac me tui semper in harare mandatis, et at numquam separare permittas, qui cum eodem Deum matronam nostrae, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum vivis et regnam aeternam. Perceptio corporis tui Deum Iesum Christum, quod ego indignus sumere praesimo non mihi proveniat in indicium et condemnationem, sed pro tua pietate prosit mihi ad tutamentum mentis et corporis et ad medelam percipiendam, qui vivis et regnas, cum Deum matronam nostrae in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. In panem celestem accipiem et nomen Deum Iesum Christum invocabo. Dea matronam nostra non sunt dignius, ut te meas in tante de queribus naperanam mea. Deum Iesum Christum non sunt dignius, ut te meas in tante de queribus naperanam mea. Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum non sunt dignius, ut te meas in tante de queribus naperanam mea. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima mea. Quid retrubum Deum Iesum Christum pro omnibus quae retribuit mihi, calicem salutaris accipiem et nomen Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum invocabo. Laudans invocabo Deum matronam nostrae et ab inimicis meis abusero. Sanguis Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima meam. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet animam tuum. Quodere subsimus Deum Iesum Christum puramente capiamus et immunem et tempore fit nobis remedium sempiternum. Corpus tuum Deum Iesum Christum quod somse et sonquis, quem botavi et hariat visceribus meis et praesta, ut in me non remaniat, scelerum macula quem purat sancta reficerunt sacramenta. Deum vobiscum, et quoque apote, oremus. May the prayer of thy suppliants profit the souls of thy servants and handmaids, we beseech thee, O Trinitarian Theophany, that thou mayest free them from all sins, and make them sharers in thy redemption, who livest and reignest with thee, one divine family, forever and ever. Deum vobiscum, et quoque apote, ite missa est. Deum gratia. Placia tibi sancta Trinitam obsequium servitutis meae et praesta ut sacrificium quod oculis tuae majestatis indinus obturitivis et acceptabile mihique et omnibus proquibus irut obtulis sitium miserante propitiabile per Christum Deum nostrum. Sanctificat vos omnipotens Deum, Patronum et Filium et Spiritum Sanctum, Deum Matronam Nostra et Deum Iesum Christum et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Gracias. O Trinitarian Theophany, I believe, I venerate, I hope, and I love thee. I beg of thee pardon for those who do not believe, do not venerate, do not hope, and do not love thee. Most Holy Trinitarian Theophany, Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. I venerate thee profoundly, and I offer to thee the most precious body, blood, soul, and divinity of Deum Iesum Christum, present here in reparation for the outrages, sacrileges, and indifference by which he himself is offended, and through the infinite merits of his most sacred heart and the immaculate heart of Deum Matronam Nostrae, I beg of thee the conversion of poor sinners. In nomine Deum Matronam Nostrae, Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Gracias. One thing I wanted to mention was habit. Habits are good to have and bad to have, okay, depending on what they are. Your presence here habitually, despite what others would say or anything like that, is a good habit. And it's important to break bad habits. So if you're one of those who puts on that television set and leaves it on all day, and while you're doing your things around the house, that's a bad habit. Okay, so try to break that one and begin a new one, and put on some nice soulful music, if you will, and listen closely for the Trinitarian Theophany, because that other TV noise is distraction. All right. Thanks for attending today. Thank you for your donations and all your help and prayers. Please go and sanctify all those who you meet, and we'll see you tomorrow, Sunday at 9 a.m. Have a great day.